Hi guys, I'm back. This time I want us to discuss that a Sweden versus England game. Of course, I want Sweden to win because I don't want England to win. And why do I not want England to win? And I watch so much English football. I think it's because I watch so much English football. So, and I'm always rooting for the underdogs, and the underdogs in this game, it's going to be Sweden, hands down. They are quite a surprise for the quarterfinals. I did not see that coming, but they've been crawling through this World Cup, so it's good to see you here, Sweden. It's good to see you here. They're very clean. I think that's what I like. They look very clean, and then they're very stoic. They're very defensive minded, and they're a very strong, disciplined unit. Like Southgate's men are going to have a tough time breaking the Swedish guys apart. But let's just see how it happens. There are no exceptional players in Sweden, as far as I can tell. Like no famous players, hardly any famous players. But I think that's part of their charm. Like, they're just an ordinary national team and they're giving it to people. So congrats, Sweden, for making it this far. The last 16 game was against Switzerland, and most people were of the opinion that it was a very dull match. But most people, Sweden and Switzerland were evenly matched, and most people were of the opinion that Switzerland lost because of two players. One of them, of course, has to be an Arsenal player, because Arsenal players, it seems we suck at everything. So it's Granit Xhaka. Yep, he's a holding midfielder, and that deflected goal, was as a result of him not doing his job. He went down too lousily, like too easily, and which allowed the goal scorer to be able to cut across him and kick the ball, which later ended up as a deflection. So everyone is blaming Xhaka. People are also blaming Shaqiri. He wasn't at his best, and people are saying that there's a routine to how these two players are playing, even when they're playing for the football clubs they play for. They're not at their best. They're not consistent with their performance, and in this World Cup, we've seen it the same. Like, for them to qualify to be in the last 16, Granit Xhaka and Shaqiri were like top of the cream in that Switzerland team. Like, they gave it their all, and now when it matters, they just don't want to perform. And yeah, so that's what pundits were criticizing the two players for. That's up to them. Anyway, I'm not sad Switzerland is going. I don't want Sweden to be heartbroken. Like, what do I have to do? Which chance do I have to use to make sure that Sweden go through past England? And but England look like that the stronger team, will be the stronger team on Saturday. They won their match against Colombia during the penalty shootout. They had like almost won the match during normal time through a penalty kick by, of course, their hero, Harry Kane. But there was a late minute equalizer, which meant that they had to go to the penalty shootout. Everyone knows that England and penalty shootouts at the World Cup and other tournaments, not their thing. So bated breath, like, oh, will they make it, will they not? But they made it. Unfortunately, and everyone was very happy. Yeah, everyone was very happy for England, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't a very convincing game. I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights, and I'm like, it wasn't a very convincing game for me. I thought Colombia was very, very strong, and I thought that they deserved to, like, at least, go through. But anyway, I'm a hater for England, so of course I was going to choose Colombia over them. Speaking of Colombia, so they lost, and because two of their players missed the penalties, and it's a dangerous time for these players. It's a dangerous time for these two players, and it's also a dangerous time for another player, I think his name is Carlos Sanchez. So in an earlier match in this World Cup, he was sent out after 3 minutes into the game, or into the second half of that game. He was sent out, obviously, for discipline issues. And now these 3 players, then he started receiving death threats. Like, people are threatening him not to come back home to Colombia. And now with this penalty shootout last night, where these 2 players lost missed those penalties, they're receiving death threats. And this is a serious thing in Colombia, because 24 years ago, a man by the name Escobar was gunned down in Colombia because he missed a penalty against USA. So this is very serious, and it's on Twitter, so you can read the tweets from Colombians telling these actual players, yo, you're going to die, yo, you don't deserve to be in our country, all this murderous rants against these players who are just doing their job. So I really hope the 3 players are going to be safe. I really hope the entire Colombian team is going to be safe, and that nothing happens to them. It would be such a shame if something happened to these players when the entire world can see what the Colombians are saying to them. Anyway, best of luck to Sweden. Bad luck to England. But I'm so sure Hurricane, anyway, yeah. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Bye.